celebrate the 10-year anniversary of The Secret, and when I think about the skyrocketing popularity of The Secret, to me it was like a cosmic sign that it was time for all of us to literally take a quantum leap in consciousness. The Secret helped to bring people closer to the reality of a mind-based, thought-based, intent-activated reality through the principle of resonance. On the positive side, The Secret introduced to the uninitiated, the many who were unaware about the laws of mind, it introduced us all, and it reinforced the rest of us by presenting a compendium of scientists and practitioners and people in the know who could show us how these laws were working in our lives. And I know that people got hopeful about the law of attraction, and then sometimes when it didn't quite work for them to achieve their dreams, they may have become cynical or maybe even resigned. Because you have to understand how the quantum principles work. Now, a lot of people were attempting to apply the law of attraction without truly understanding how it actually works. And it was easy for me to see what was in the way of manifesting effectively, because in my own work in QuantumThink, I distinguish two very different systems of reality that shape the way we think. The outdated, only physical is real of the industrial age, 17th century, as distinct from the accurate and more up-to-date, multi-dimensional, holistic approach of the quantum age. So if you couldn't distinguish what was shaping your thinking, which system of reality, maybe it could have been a little bit confusing. Because when you think about the dynamic of intent, it doesn't work as a cause and effect. It's actually a field effect. So I make a distinction between intent and intention. Intent being the always present, activating force that colors the field, that shifts the field and attracts results. And intention being the specific, measurable, that would be the outcome of your intent. So here's how it works. Suppose you wanted $1 million in your bank account by the end of this year. That's a good goal. And that's an intention, a measurable end result. Then how do you generate the state of resonance that will attract to you the circumstances that bring about that monetary goal? That is where the activating force of intent comes in. A statement of intent, for example, might be, I'm happy and satisfied about the way my financial status is unfolding. And you know, there's no goal in that statement. It's a state of being that continuously emanates. You aren't being predictive. You aren't in a cause and effect. I said this and that's going to happen. You're conditioning your own state, your personal resonance. This is how you begin to master the law of attraction. So there are two things that we need to know, quantum style. Intent is not a belief, and it's not based in circumstantial evidence. Intent is a creative context that operates as a quantum field of possibility, of probability. There's nothing fixed about it. In fact, in my view, you can only create using the law of attraction effectively if you understand these two things, that there is no fixed reality and that intent is not a cause and effect, direct linkage dynamic. It operates as a field effect. So this is the great news, because you and I have the opportunity to transform our state and shift the circumstances in any instant, because nothing is fixed in stone. When you shift the field with your intent, you shift everything instantly. Of course, it takes a while for it to manifest. So this is what we call the force called intent. Now, another question that came up was the secret too materialistic? And I think this is where people may have gotten lost in the either or thinking of that old worldview, industrial age, thinking that to want abundance, to want financial abundance, that it's somehow not virtuous or spiritual in some way. And I don't think that the people who are really tuned in to the dynamic that we are talking about from the wonderful The Secret would say that, because it goes much deeper. It is, it's almost mystical. It's definitely multi-dimensional. And when you think about where does this exchange of money, how does that show up? And you look at it, and the way I look at it is you look at that your talent, those gifts and talents that you develop during your lifetime. This is our currency, and that is unlimited. And it has to do with being able to shift our personal resonance, not only for the outer results in life, but for the inner results, our inner state. So important right now as the world is shifting and changing dramatically, that we want to be able to hold that center. We want to be able to be in a clear state so that we can make the clear connection of the non-local infinite mind that we're all an aspect of. And we want to be able to make that connection clearly, and that comes with being able to, what we could say, clear the static on the radio of our own being. This is when the law of attraction, the power of intent, works best. So when you realize what the master sages taught, that the mind is located in the spiritual heart, you realize there's no conflict at all between heart and mind, because it really has to do, what does intent and the law of attraction have to do with? Our resonant field, what we hold in awareness in a habitual way. And this is why this dynamic and this, what we have been really accomplishing 10 years later, how are we relating to these dynamics of mind? How are we learning to master them? How are we tuning in to what we habitually hold in mind, in awareness, because that is our resonant field. Intent is the dynamic of mind that becomes the resonant field, that becomes the attraction factor. And then, of course, we have to take action. We live in a physical universe, and this is how the laws of mind express. So we could say the law of attraction, it's practical, it's purposeful, and it's pleasurable. It's pleasurable. 10 years later, it is really a good idea for us to develop a conscious relationship with the law of attraction, with the secret. And, you know, we can view the law of attraction from these attributes. Universal laws are practical. They don't function on their own. They function through us in action. Universal laws are purposeful. Your job or profession or product is not your purpose per se. It's an opportunity, a venue for you to express your purpose. It's one possible way. We're all born with unique gifts and destinies, and that's what we're here to express and give it to the rest of the world. So when you see the law of attraction related to your purpose, the secret of manifesting reality, it includes wealth, monetary wealth, and it goes way beyond. Universal laws are expressions of higher consciousness. They always are related to purpose. And so the closer that you and I connect to our unique purpose, then the closer we are to universal law operating through us. The secret is one of these laws. So when you do this, when you connect this way, what usually happens is that our business does take off in a most positive direction. The more you relate who you came to this earth to be, to whatever business you're in right now, to whatever products you're selling, this is what makes it that much more effective. And you know, these universal laws, they're magical. That's what we love about it. So 10 years after The Secret, we're ready to go beyond awareness alone, awareness of it, to establish it as an operating principle, as our way of life. We're here to establish ourselves, in my estimation, in my view, as masters. And The Secret is part of the mastery game if you play it right. And as I like to say, as the mantra of QuantumThink, when you master your mind, you master your life and your world.